Hey everybody, I'm Tim Cynova and I'm here with Katrina Donald. We're excited to teach the inclusive hiring course and thought we'd just explain a little bit about what it is, how it came to be, and what you can expect if you sign up and participate in the course with us. Katrina and I are teaching inclusive hiring, reimagining the search process. And it's based on our work to really think about how do we create a search process, a hiring process, a way of recruiting and onboarding team members that centers our values in equity, inclusion, anti-racism, anti-oppression, justice. Because for the most part, many organizations are using search processes that are pretty dusty. Like they really haven't changed much since 1982. So, 40 years later, we're sort of all using the same thing about how do we hire and how do we search for candidates and bring them in. And so we want to take a moment to be with a community of people who are all interested in this. And so we can wrestle with questions like how might centering equity and inclusion inform the way we craft job descriptions and position postings? Or how might we live our values to create inclusive and transparent selection processes? Like, what does this actually look like in practice? How do we maybe pull apart our hiring process and then rebuild it together and center these values as a way that can then inform the way we do search in an organization? So this is what we pulled together. We're going to go step by step through sort of a traditional Western management-based hiring process. And at each stage, really ask ourselves to begin again, to really say, like, if we did that thing and we centered equity, what might that look like? If we change how the job offer is negotiated to center justice, what might that look like? And this is what we're really excited about, having spent years really in traditional hiring, traditional search and recruitment, then expanding into reimagining executive search, doing consulting with organizations that are trying to reimagine it, and thought, let's just pull together a course.
We're going to tackle this in 4 modules. So in Mod 1, we're really going to be sort of introducing that arc. We're going to be talking foundations and fundamentals. So how do we approach a traditional search? Where are these kind of big moments that you and I have really started to unpack? How do we talk about what kind of resources are required and where, different parts of the process require different kinds of heavy lifting from different people in the organization? We're going to look at the position description right from its first step. We're going to say, what is this trying to say? What is key for this role? What are we really looking for when it comes to the KSAs, to those knowledge, skills, and abilities that are required to be successful in this role? In Mod 2, we'll be crafting position descriptions, talking about sourcing and outreach. We're going to be looking at giving some feedback about position descriptions that you're creating. We'll be looking at, who, what, and where when it comes to sourcing. Who are we trying to attract? In what ways are they going to be best able to take in the information about the role and about the opportunity? And where do we post? How do we make use of all of the brilliant networks of our communities, of all of the people that are around and surround the role that we're looking to fill? In Module 3 is all about interviews. So we'll be looking at how do you design an interview from start to finish? How do we really understand the kinds of investment that's required from candidates from each phase of the interview process? How do we go about question development and really understanding some practical scenarios that are applicable to the role, and how we lead the conversations around those scenarios within an interview context so that we're really learning and hearing from the candidates? One of the other things I'm really excited about, we'll be talking about in the 3rd module, and that's this idea of creating a candidate weighting rubric. So we're going to be going back to those KSAs when we design the interviews in the mod before this one. And then we're going to take those questions, scenarios, those KSAs we want to learn about, and we're going to be designing a tool for reflection and a tool for learning about how the different candidates are really supporting our understanding of imagining them in the role. And in Module 4, we're going to bring it all home. We're really going to land that plane. So we're going to talk about reference checks. We're going to talk about the offer stage. And we're going to be talking about onboarding. We really want to think about what it's like to enter into the organization, to be showing up on your first day, who you meet, what you talk about, how you're structured for learning and set up to get right to it. It's taking care and being thoughtful about that entry point that we really realize, what we need to do to set candidates up for success, what the role of the organization is for setting those candidates up for success.